Welcome to the Chinchilla Picking Podcast. It is September the 8th, 2025 at 9:09 p.m. As always, we hope to be entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. My name is David Underwood, and I am doing this one by myself. It's going to be a shorter one. Just going to cover a few topics. Brandon is having some health issues right now, and I'm just recording here on a late Monday night. Well, late for me. I'm more of an early bird and less of a late night owl. So this is late for me, but we're going to get into it. I want to start off. There's a number of things I want to cover, but first things first, I have to eat crow and I have to admit when I'm wrong and I have to take my hit and my loss. This just killed me this past week. I took the loss on Bullish and I sold. I sold on Bullish at $59 a share. That hurt a lot. I took the hit. I got out. And I was wrong. I was completely wrong. I was sold on Peter Thiel. I was sold on the whole crypto aspect of Bullish and everything that it could offer. And the upside seemed to be unreal. And it was unreal. It was completely unreal and not at all possible. So I was wrong. I got it wrong. I still think it probably will bounce back up, but I don't want to be in it or a part of it. I took a huge, massive hit at a cost basis of around $72 to $74 a share. Forget what it is, because it doesn't matter. I sold at 59. That's a pretty substantial hit there. That's, not sitting too well for me, but I got out and I'm moving forward. I actually quit watching anything stock news related for I think until today, until this morning was the first time I put on anything stock news. I took a break, walked away from it all. Just everything else is in safe investments, good investments. Like Lens Therapeutics is doing fantastic for me. Thank you to the gentleman in my gym for giving me that one. And Met Sarah's doing fabulous for me. Google had a great couple weeks for me. I'm doing fabulous in all my other investments. So I just took a break and walked away. Did not look or read anything stock news related for a number of days and came back this morning. So back at it. Got my head cleared, got my break done, ready to refocus, retool, and kind of earn this money back that I lost. It's a nice loss. I'll learn from it, grow from it, and that's what I'm gonna take from it. What did I do wrong? What did I miss? Was I too blinded by crypto and IPO and did miss the actual fundamentals, which is what I believe happened. I was blinded by Peter Thiel and PayPal Mafia and the whole aspect, the appeal of the crypto bubble and the rising up, and I missed, and I didn't focus on true fundamentals and what this could actually mean, and that it was overvalued, overpriced, and I bought in at the overprice. And we live and we learn. But now that I have this cash free, whatever, how much I got left, right? Now that we have this cash free, what are we going to do with it? Well, as I turned back on CNBC, Bloomberg, all these channels this morning, and I'm sitting there on my couch sofa just watching it, drinking my caffeine of choice for the morning, and I saw a lot of things. There's a number of things being talked about. Number one was the Fed. Number two was the tariff refunds. That was being talked about. The Fed decision was being talked about. Inflation, stagflation, I heard all over. I was like, what happened? I left, quit watching the markets on Wednesday, come back on Monday. Everybody's talking stagflation. Are we having stagflation? Are we not having stagflation? What's going on? What happened in 4 days' time? I don't know. We're going to dig into that hopefully just a little bit, not much. I'm just going to briefly touch on each one and then kind of let you guys know where my head's at as far as where I'm thinking I'm going to put this money to work. Number one, I don't think we're going to have stagflation. Stagflation would mean that the inflation rate's going to go higher. Now, the Fed and all these nonpartisan, bipartisan individuals and groups have said, like the Congressional Budget, Office, the Fed, a lot of other people have said that we might have a one-time jump in inflation, which we saw last month, and maybe they said even into this month, and then it should just come back down. They're not concerned about stagflation. The talking heads on all these channels are concerned about stagflation. I'm not too concerned about stagflation. I don't see a fundamental reason for stagflation. I see an actual slower economy happen, but I don't see an actual recession. This you see a slowdown based off the numbers that were reported today. We're going to see a lot more numbers this week. We have consumer price index coming out. This week we have a what do they call it? Not revisited, but a when they look at the jobs numbers and they edit it. I'm drawing a blank here, but we had the new revised jobs numbers coming out this week. So we're going to get some good fundamental numbers, something to go off of and actually make some decisions with coming up here, and that's going to be great for us, right? We want to see that. We want to actually get some real numbers, some real data so we can make informed decisions. And that's what we're looking at. So as far as stagflation, that should be looked at later on this week when we get the consumer price index, when we get some inflation data. As far as the strength of the economy, we're going to see revised job numbers. We're going to be looking ahead, see inventory numbers. Inventory numbers came in a little lower. That means there's going to be less to buy. So it means numbers may not be as high, may not be as high. You never know still. I'm waiting to see actual numbers on shipping. I've seen some preliminary numbers and they are a little bit lower than what we was estimated. So that means it could be a lower holiday season because there's fewer things to buy. I don't know if that's going to be the case because if there's fewer things to buy, they don't have to do as deep as discounts so they can sell it at a higher price and you actually could have the same amount of profit or return and even revenue increase overall. It all depends on how things turn out here. Are we going to have a longer sell season? I know a lot of retailers are moving towards that to where the sell season is now a month and a half and not just 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's now just, hey, it's 2 months of sales, November and December. Come get them. They start right after Halloween. Boom, sales, 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 sales. Come on in. Black Friday sales now is what they're going to be advertising, and that's what we want to see. These longer holiday seasons, do they actually give you the same or even better revenue? Because revenue has continued to increase even on slower winners that we've covered here, where they had slower numbers during the December month, but overall they still hit the numbers for the end of the year because they had a longer season. So we've seen that in the last couple of years. So that's one things I'm definitely going to be looking at here and challenging. Now, as far as the tariff refund talk that I heard all today, this is all dependent upon the Supreme Court holding up that these tariffs were illegal. The Supreme Court battle. Um, and it's I don't see that actually holding in. You know what I mean? I see I see them not saying it's illegal, and thus we're not going to have to do the refunds. And so you're not going to get 1 trillion in refunds going back out because the Treasury Department has said if we have to issue these refunds, that's going to be a tremendous task for them. And if they do, they have to sell more bonds. So that's why you see the Treasury bond price dropping because people are leaning towards that the Supreme Court is going to say it's illegal. Treasury bond prices are dropping right now and thus, you see a little jump in the stock market. Now, if they determine, which is what I think will happen, that they are not illegal, that bond prices will, go back up. Unless I got did I get that reverse? I don't know. I'll take a look at it afterwards, and if I got a reverse, that's fine. Just flip what I said, and it works. But yes. So there's a lot of those things happening right now in the market, and most people are like, why does this even matter to me? Well, all these things matter to you because if you have a 401k, if you have an IRA, you own some treasury bonds. In fact, a lot of companies own treasury bonds as a place to put cash, and it gives them a nice return on their money, and then they have those cash reserves to borrow from if need be in an instant. Now, some companies like that I've covered in the past, I no longer own and I don't recommend you buy, but it's Cooler Technology Group. They switched from treasury bonds to buying Bitcoin and other type of cryptos as the same type of service. And so instead of having those treasury bonds to borrow from and get money in a tight squeeze, they're using Bitcoin. Now, whether or not you know it, like I said, at 401k, IRA, you own some treasury bonds one way or another, and that's just the way it is. So when I look at the overall market, I see these are the hot topics. I don't see any reasons of how these are going to move really anything I'm looking at personally. And I'm going here through my list right now. Everything looks just fine for me. Again, I don't see anything that calls out to me that says screams, "Hey, buy, sell, this, that, the other." Uh, Lens Therapeutics was down today, but overall it's up since last week when I made the call. I made the call, it was at 36, it's at 40. It's $4 a share since, got on here, said it's call. Met Sarah's a little bit down right now, but overall still up for me. And, my dividend stocks are still holding steady right where they're at. In fact, Altria Mo has been very much a boon for me, but again, it's too high. I wouldn't recommend buying it as a dividend stock unless you believe it's going to continue its growth higher as a investment stock, which it may, but I historically I would say no because it's going to come back down eventually once we get into a invest in cycle to where more people are confident in the overall market. So people put their money in Altria as a safe holding place during times of low confidence or volatility. That way they know they get that consistent dividend and return on their money. All right. Looking forward, what I'm looking at, like I said, it's going to be a quick one. I'm not going to cover a lot. It's just me by myself. There's no back and forth. So I want to make this as interesting for you as possible. So I'm going to keep it light. Definitely looking at maybe putting some more money in Lens Therapeutics, maybe Metsera. There's not a lot of other interesting picks for me right now. I know some of the headlines out here are Japan's Nikkei. It's moving higher. Japan's looking very positive. It's a good point, but with the Feds possibly cutting by half a point, with the jobs numbers being revised, it all depends on how big of a revision is. If it's huge down to where it even goes negative, that's a bad thing for the markets. You're going to see some drops, and that'd be good buying opportunity, which is why I'm going to hold on to this cash that I currently have now from selling bullish position. And we're going to wait and see what happens with that. With the consumer price index, I want to look for that number on Friday. That's going to tell me again what's the cost to the everyday consumer here? How much has it gone up? I know on CNBC they were talking a lot about services. Are the services costs going up or is it just product? Because if services costs going up, there's a higher inflation story going here. And that could be true, but it also could be that they're charging more for the services because they got to pay for products. So there could be some correlation to if services go higher, it's an overall inflation and not just the tariff inflation. We'll have to wait and see where the numbers break down and how much of a breakdown it's going to be. And that's going to come out on Friday. So that's definitely one thing I'm looking at. More AI deals going on. I think we're now at the point where the AI money has been saturated to the point to where you're going to have these IPOs in these smaller companies, and they're going to pull what happened with Circle, where they're going to jump up a lot. It's going to be great, and then all of a sudden you're going to have what just happened to me with a Bullish, where a company comes out, it's AI, it's new, it's great, yeah, great person behind it, and it tanks, and everybody loses money, and it's not a good thing. So, are we getting to that point with AI? Not quite yet. Well, I want to see what kind of return they're going to get on the money. I know Google says they've already posted some of the returns they're getting. Facebook's already posted some of the returns they're getting, and it's been positive, but it hasn't quite paid back what they put into it. So how long is that going to take? And for a smaller firm, does it take longer to kind of pay back what they put into the research and development of these things? Definitely one things I'm looking at. Definitely one to take a look to investigate and research a little bit more. Nebis stock was the one that soared 60% on the multi-billion dollar AI deal with Microsoft. So keep an eye out for Nebis stock. That's one that might continue going higher, but actually might come back down. Halidin Therapeutics, that's one Brandon had talked about on the show. And he invested in it and it went up. He recently posted in some of our group chats that he sold and he got out. So I wanted to report that here for all of you listening. If you followed Brandon into that, he did sell, he did get out, he took his profit, he made a good amount of profit on it. So it's definitely one to go ahead and take your profit on and put it somewhere else. All right. I believe I've covered everything I wanted to cover. I said this was going to be a quick one. I was just going to throw some news at you, kind of give you an update. That way, we always have something coming out each week. So if you have any questions, DM us, reach out to us. If you want to yell at me some more for Bullish, and if you followed me in the Bullish, I apologize. I'm sorry. I don't get them all right. I get some wrong, and that was one I got wrong really bad. So sorry and apologize if you followed me into it. But as always, we hope we've been entertaining, educational, and uplifted because we want everyone to make money. Have a good night.